Hello and welcome to The Lab, a Minecraft podcast where we explore, experiment, and theorize about all things Minecraft. I am MinerThoughts, and with me is my awesome co-host, my brother from down under, the Troj.
Hello, Miner. Hello, loyal listeners. How are we all doing tonight? Well, today, it's tonight for me. Very rare occurrence, a nighttime recording session. So, bear with me on that.
Yes, we flipped the scripts. We've flipped the zones. It's early morning for me and late night for the Troj.
It is, and you'll have to excuse my scratchy voice. As everyone knows, I've been a little bit unwell. But this time last night, we were recording episode 3 of our tabletop RPG, Blades in the Dark campaign, and my voice has still not recovered from that session because I was doing a lot of different character voices, and I can tell you, Miner, there's one there I'm voicing a ghost sort of type character, and it was really a strain on my voice box, that one, and I have not quite recovered.
Oh, I can imagine. Yeah. What you thought was going to be. It's kind of an in-between type episode. It's going to be nice and short. Nah, we decided as players, we're going to go for 3 hours.
Yeah, right off the rails. And I think it's the first episode. So this is episode 3. If anyone's going to listen to it, when you hear episode 3, just keep in mind that I am making up 95% of it as we go because these guys, Miner, DTG, and Lyciant, they took me off the tracks massively as GM. So it was a whole lot of fun, though. A whole lot of fun.
That's all right. That's all right. He's doing an awesome bang-up job of still keeping that train back on the tracks, getting it back. And yeah, it's going to be awesome. I can't wait for everyone to hear it.
Yeah, I'm definitely having a lot of fun with it. And that opportunity, a different way to be creative, different outlet. I'm really enjoying that. First time GMing, so quite nervous and still learning. That I'm enjoying crafting the world and the story around the shenanigans you three get up to. So
yes. Can't wait to hear the feedback from everybody on that. And speaking of feedback, hey, how about that segue?
Hey, well done. That was one. I was trying to find a segue. It wasn't coming. You, sir, smooth as butter.
Yeah. We got the end of the year 2024 feedback episode. Got a little bit.
We have, but first and foremost, at the time of recording, it's currently, for me, it is currently Christmas Eve. So, Merry Christmas for those that are Christmas people. And obviously we're coming out, I think this is releasing on the 30th. So, Happy New Year in a couple of days.
Yes. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Happy holidays. Whatever you celebrate, enjoy yourselves.
Happy week off work day.
Yes.
Yeah.
That too.
But no, it's been a cracker of a year. Can't believe we are now at the final episode of season 3. And as is our tradition over the last couple of years, we do wrap things up with the final feedback. So maybe we should jump into that.
Yes.
So the first lot of feedback, there wasn't a lot of feedback in terms of across all the episodes, but we had a couple of episodes that got a lot of feedback. So the first one was Blooming with Anticipation, The Garden Awakens. And it's a little bit of a strange one in the fact that Jurassics and Thomas have sort of made multiple comments and broken them up. And I think what's probably the best thing to do is just take each one on their merits as their own separate comment, and we all make a comment on them. So the first one is Jurassics. I do like the sound of an additional biome in the Nether as a drop. They've shown a small biome drop could be done, and like he said, it will be 5 years since the Nether update if they did it in the next drop. And that was in reference to us. I think it was talking about what we would like to see, and you were mentioning, I think, about putting a bit-by-bit update of the end. And I sort of said I don't think that would work. But did comment that I thought it would be a good idea if they just gave us a new biome in the Nether, because it hasn't had a touch in 5 years.
Yeah, but as far as other than the overworld, that dimension to me still feels, 10 times better than the one we haven't gotten yet.
I'm sure it'll come, but I think everything in its time and in its place. I don't know. It's just the way it feels to me. It'll be one of the next upcoming updates, not a drop. I think it'll be an update. So we just have to wait and see.
Yes. They did say they want to put out content more often, but that doesn't mean they're going to not do like a full update. Because they still have some numbers left. They have.
Yeah.
We're getting 1.20, or they just dropped 1.21.4. So, we still got 5, 6, 7, 8. They still got time to do, the full update, whatever that may be.
That they do. And speaking of that, Jurassics, again, I think having drops allows a separate team to work on a bigger update, such as the end, while still providing new content. We as players underestimate how much work goes into updates and balancing the game. This also stops a repeat of the Caves and Cliffs update part 1, 2, 3, which wasn't well received due to the delays. This gives them much more flexibility. And that's pretty much what we said, and do definitely agree with that. And yeah, I think there's a big segment out there that do underestimate what goes into it, because you hear a lot of the time, well, the modders have done it, why can't Mojang do it? But the modders don't need to worry about balance. They don't need to worry about how it fits into the bigger picture, or not just of what has come before, but how it fits into what is still yet to come, which modders have no idea about and don't have to know about and don't have to care about. They can just whack their mods out. So I do think there is a bit of underestimation out there in the community at times.
Right. Yeah. You have balancing, squashing bugs, because you add new things in. You got to make sure it's not going to break something else. Our guest that we had, Ray's Works, he's with this new drop, he's dealing with having to rebuild farms over and over and over again, because of the change in code and mechanics and whatnot. So yeah, there's a lot more to it than people estimate, or they underestimate how much is into it.
Yeah, do agree. Jurassics again. I just really hope that the next drop does something with the inventory. Although I reckon we'll see that in experimental snapshots first. So an end update could be the next focused one. Yes, inventory, we've said it 1,000 times here. Inventory needs a rework. And I think Jurassics is right. I think when they roll something out, it'll be in the experimental stage. And because it's such a big thing that so many people are after for a long time, I'm sure they're going to want to get it right. And they have a track record, obviously, Mojang, that being, to get things right, will seek the feedback of the community. So I definitely think any inventory update will go through to experiments first.
Right. And they've done that in the past with the experimental redstone changes and combat changes. I'm hoping, there was some positive and negative feedback about those, so that's why they're still in the experimental stage. But what I'm hoping is maybe in the future they have that, they do release those things, but maybe in a toggle, to where you can have it toggle it on and off and still play the way you want to play.
Yeah, I think so. And I've got no problem with that. Like, some of you may know on my second channel, I'm doing a lot of 7 Days to Die content at the moment. And it's really customizable. Like when you're setting up the world and setting up the way the game's going to work, you can go and change so many things so that your experience is exactly what you want it to be. And yeah, I can see that filtering through to Minecraft, something similar, I think.
Mm-hmm.
We have Thomas, but he agrees with you. For the end, they could make one rare biome or new city or structure. I am okay with that. I'm still against it. I think if they're going to do the end, do it in one fell swoop. Don't do it in bits and bits. But, maybe they will do it that way. Who knows?
Who knows? I mean, we've said it again and again. even when we think we know what Mojang is going to do, we don't really know.
No, that's exactly right. Thomas, again, I think the drops are a way to make it harder for Java servers and push for more Microsoft simple updates into Realms to become a selling point for Microsoft and a disadvantage to Java. I mean, I don't know. Jurassic's commented, and I think it's probably a good one to follow up with. I think this has some validity if you're happy with just vanilla, but Java is able to provide a much more tailored experience for the player. Like Troj says, it will just make it a bit more challenging as a server operator, but players will get used to the new process. I haven't read this one, but then Thomas has gone, that's all true. Java rules in my book. Admin will likely barely notice a small frequency in drops, forcing them into updates. The community should care for their admins and work with them in the end. What other course is there? Oh yeah, but you see what I am saying, and is worth looking for trends or discussing it in hopes we can let Mojang know how we feel. Look, I don't necessarily know whether it's designed to push more to Bedrock. I have no doubt the desire would be strong to see Java go away and it to be more absorbed into like more players playing Bedrock, because that's where they make most of their money from with the marketplace and whatnot. From a Java perspective, I think from a content creator perspective, I think Java at the moment still has the edge for the tools that you can get with the various mods to help you with your content creation. From a server operator perspective, yes, it is honestly a pain in the butt. At the moment, Interrealms is on 1.20 because we haven't seen, 1.20.1. We haven't seen the need to update to 0.2, 0.3 because it wasn't something that was huge. It wasn't mega. So we didn't worry about it, but we are going to very, very shortly, like in the next couple of days or so, update to 1.21.4 because it's a drop. It's a big update. That's the wrong terminology. There's a lot more content in it, so it's worthy of the update of the server. But yes, it is going to mean more workload for those of us that update servers. And it's not just that, it's also putting more workload on mod developers because they need to update their mods to each version that us then as server operators can go, okay, we're waiting on Lithium, we're waiting on Looter, we're waiting on this, we're waiting on that. And you sit there and you watch. And for the last couple of weeks, since 1.21.4 has dropped, I've been sitting there watching all the mods that we use on the back end of Interrealms going, okay, this one's on, this one's done, this one's done. And, you sometimes you got to sit and wait, and sometimes it can hold you up. Or you might be in a case where mods just will never get updated and you've got to move on from them. But it is definitely going to be more of a challenge on when and how more frequently we update a server to the newer version. Because obviously, you as a player, you want to be playing with the new stuff as early as possible.
Right. And that kind of makes me think about an idea that we have for an episode possibly in 2025. That was, I can't remember who suggested it, is when do you decide to start a new world? Do you just update to the next drop or whatever? Or do you say, okay, it's just going to be easier to start a new world? I'm sure we can discuss that in a future episode.
Yeah, well, that's a fair call. Like something like The Garden Awakens, I don't think warrants a whole new world. But put it this way, when they did the caves and cliffs and the whole the terrain generation and everything changed, that was definitely worthy of a restart. And I think it's something that comes to each of its own merits that you need to make that decision. But the other thing too is when a server starts a world, each world's different, each server is different, each community is different. And we're on our fourth world at the moment, and you can honestly say you can feel it sounds weird, but you can feel when the time has come to pull the plug on a world. It has that feeling. World 3, I think it went 6 months too long, personally, from Interrealms. I think it was well and truly done, but we had people that needed projects to finish, so we persevered with it, which is fine, which is totally good. But you can just get that vibe around a community that, hey, we're ready for We're ready for something new. We're ready to kick it off. And that's why I think it's important that servers do refresh their worlds on at least a semi-regular basis, because that's what keeps the interest up. Long-term worlds, very rarely do they last.
Right. And, season 3 or season 2 was like, felt way too short. Like there were things that I wanted to do, but how life things happen, and I will get everything.
The irony of that comment is that season 2 was 6 months. Season 1 was 8. It was only 2 months different.
See, season 1 felt so much longer though. It's maybe it's because it was the launch and everybody was excited, and I feel like in that season world, I got more done than I have in any other. So
100%. But it's equally it's second shortest season, season 1. And I think the thing is that so many people went into that world thinking, oh, this is just a stopgap. It's going to be really short. I'm going to save my ideas for World 3. And it turned out it actually wasn't a short season compared to season 1. It was only 2 months left, like shorter than the first one. But if you look at the output between the two, it was vastly different. Like if you take out probably Mika, myself, and Jurassics and Shepherd Sean, there wasn't too much else done. Like you guys, you and Ree came through probably towards the end and came up with a really beautiful sort of, what was it like? What would you call it? Like a Tuscan sort of
Spanish
mission. Yeah, that's right.
But and that was kind of the launch of being more creative for me, and going into World 3, which was the longer season. That, what I did out in the swamp was like 100% my design. I wasn't using a bunch of schematics like I did in World 1, Season 1. So, I mean, it's evolving. It's ever evolving. And to bring it back to updates and drops, for servers, I think we just need to, we've learned how to kind of adapt and kind of roll with it. And, there are some heartaches and some groans and whatnot, but we've kind of, I think we're getting to where we just like accept it as it comes and just deal with it.
I think you have to. Like, they develop the game how they want to, and we have to adjust and go from there. That's all we can really do.
Yep.
That was sort of it for that episode. And then we talked about the lawsuit against Mojang. That whole drama. And we've got comments there from Devara, Thomas, and someone else called Donald. Well, at the end of the day, and again, if you know Devara, if you're a regular, Devara has left a thesis, and we're going to let you go and read that one for yourselves. But the summary of all of the comments is basically, this is not going to go too far. And probably in way of a follow-up, there's been a lot of other videos made by other creators. And again, on this topic, we're not giving shout-outs because we don't want this to be any more drama than what it needs to be. But there's been a lot of other videos that have come out presenting not necessarily the other side, but an alternative point of view. And I think it's important to note some of these. So for the sake of balance, we as a podcast have presented both or multiple angles. The mod in question, actually, it wasn't stopped because they had got an email. The developer of the mod had got an email basically saying, we're not going to enforce this yet. And the mod, actually, the server that the mod was going to be on was not stopped. It launched on the day as planned, and it actually failed, not because they were told, hey, take it down, but because there was no player base. And so it actually closed before all this come to light and this lawsuit fired up. So it just that sort of to me adds to the case of it's just a case of this developer has sunk time, money, effort, and no doubt love into the process of developing something. It hasn't worked. And now the motivation is to find a way to recoup their investment. And, a lot of it's built around, the EULA and Mojang's, the class action is for all 300 million players of Minecraft. Well, how many of these 300 million have actually directly impacted by this change? I would argue not many. I don't think it's going to go anywhere. And I just think the more the information comes to light with different viewpoints on it, we sort of see a different motivation appearing than what may necessarily have come through on the initial video, which is fair because, no one's going to come out and say, hey, I'm suing Mojang because I want my money back for my time and money and effort. That's fair. But yeah, I think just look at it with more skeptical vision before going off and donating some funds to a lawsuit that may not go anywhere.
Yeah. The hype around it, in my eyes, kind of died off fairly quickly. It got its 15 minutes of fame, and then, it's, you won't hear about it until something else happens, whether, it dropped. And, sometimes you hear stories of like, especially with Kickstarters and GoFundMe's and stuff is like, it's ended, and now this person has to figure out how to give all that money back, or do they just, disappear, or who knows what will happen or how far it will go. But yeah, I've already forgotten about it.
No, me too. And look, nothing legal, nothing happens quickly when it comes to legal stuff. And again, we will know that neither of us are lawyers. This is our own independent advice. Go seek your own independent advice. We are giving our own independent opinion, and it is not legal advice. But look, personally, I wouldn't be donating money to a cause like that. But it is interesting to note that the amount of money he sought is the right word, Troj. The amount of money that he achieved. So I'm not going to draw any conclusions. You can draw your own on that one. So we'll see what happens. Yep. And we're going to leave that there. And we probably won't recover this topic, I don't think, unless there's a major development.
Yeah, exactly.
Out there. We'll let that one, let sleeping dogs lie. And then, Miner, we spoke about looking back, moving forward, our end of year wrap up, the year that was, what's coming next. And we had comments there again from Jurassics, from Cobble, from Devara, from SB, and from Thomas. Just for various comments about our plans. And, we really want to hear what you guys want to see. Drop us an email, drop us, a message on Discord, wherever, on Twitter, Blue Sky. We want to hear what do you want to see? What would you like us to do? We're coming, next season is our 4th season, our 4th year doing this. So yeah, please give us the feedback. We are looking at setting up a Patreon for the lab. What sort of benefits would you like? We can do a pre-show, a post-show, unedited versions. What do you guys want? This is our community. It's not just Miner and myself. It's not the Interrealms network. It is our community, the listeners, myself and Miner. We build this together. So we want your input on this.
Yes. The one standout comment for me was from Thomas, asking about the Hot Ones challenge that we had mentioned. And, he'd like to ask the questions. Just an update on that for you guys. I've got it figured out. And if these episodes are on track, it should be sometime in spring. Maybe around the same time as Mojang drops the next drop.
Hang on. What does spring translate for us Australians?
Winter, maybe?
What month?
I don't know.
Okay.
March, around March, April. will be episode 100. So then we will, and by that time, it just depends on how the mail system goes from the US to Australia. It shouldn't take 3 months for these hot sauces to get in the Troj's hands.
They have got to get through customs, and so you get them in the mail sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
I'm not looking forward to it. I don't handle spice really well. So that's probably the other thing that you guys can do. If you have got any questions, send them in and we'll put them in the mix.
Yes. Yeah, I am taking at least a couple days off to do this for recovery days.
Yeah, I think I will too. I'll need to plan it, and there will be some time off. That will definitely be recovery. There'll be milkshakes and possibly some aloe vera cream on standby.
True. Yeah. I didn't even think about the aloe vera cream.
Yeah, I said that, mate. I think of all ends. I don't leave any end. Oh my goodness. Moving on. How would people actually send through some feedback and questions?
There are many ways now. We have the email, of course, at minecraftlabpodcast@gmail.com. We have our socials. We have one, because I can never remember these guys. I just need to write it down. I need to have it like right in front of me when we record this.
Yeah, I think 3 years in, we may have figured that out by now.
Twitter X at MCLab_podcast. And then, of course, we are now on Blue Sky, which is, hold on, I'll get it for you. LabMCPodcasts.bluesky.social. We're over there now. And if you can't remember these links, like I can't remember these links, the easiest way to find them is go to the website interrealmssmp.com, and you can connect to all the links, all the members, catch their streams, catch their videos, and catch all the podcasts and future podcasts on the Interrealms Podcast Network.
Yes.
I think.
Good job. You got there in the end.
Yes. At my age, I need to write things down more and more so I could just read them off. You know, I've got, for now, I've got the intro committed to memory, but now I need to commit a outro to memory.
Yeah, you do. You've got the intro absolutely perfect. And this was 2024, the farewell to the wood puns, which I'm actually really happy about. But got to move on the outro, and probably a nice way to end out this year and season 3. Miner is, we got an email from our good friend Dab Play. Obviously, we gave him a shout out in I think it was our recap episode. Still listening to the pod. Just wanted to let you know, keep it up, and I'm excited to see what 2025 brings for you both. Happy Christmas and New Year. Thank you, Dab, and obviously to all of our listeners, whether you are new here, whether you're returning, whether you listen to sometimes, we appreciate you all. Just seeing the growth of the podcast from week to week is amazing. We appreciate you all, and we look to continue to keep you entertained well into 2025 and beyond.
Yes. As long as Mojang has a game called Minecraft, we will be here to talk about it and the content creation around it.
See you next year.
See ya.